Here you go, bro.
What up? Welcome to another edition of 22MW. My name's Tony. I'm coming to you from EBK Studios, and today I'm joined by superfan Kyle. What's up, Kyle?
How's it going? How you doing?
Not bad, not bad. And my brother Kurtis. So Kurtis, Marvel Studio president Kevin Feige worked on some other superhero movies, including the 3 we're going to review tonight. How many did he work on before Iron Man came out?
5.
Kyle, you got a guess?
I'm gonna say 3.
It is 12.
What?
X-Men, Daredevil, X2, Hulk, Punisher, Spider-Man 2, Blade Trinity, Elektra, Fantastic Four, X-Men The Last Stand, Spider-Man 3, Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer, all before Iron Man. So I would say he has experience with good and bad movies, and he's made some good and bad ones in his own right.
That's fair
There
enough.
you go. All right, so before we get into what we're going to be talking about tonight, which is the first 3 X-Men movies, I thought I'd give Kyle a minute if you wanted to share any thoughts on Captain America Civil War.
Yeah, sure. Obviously, I thought it was a great movie because it had Spider-Man, and I thought Tom Holland did a fantastic job, and I'm really thankful that he's a younger guy and he's going to be sticking around that universe for a while.
He's not too good looking, right? He's not like Andrew Garfield where he's too good looking.
No, right. He's a good combination. He's definitely a young Peter Parker, real awkward, and he pulled that off really well. And the joking during the fighting sequences was spot on. That's Spider-Man all the way. As you know, I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. So
Ran a couple of the comic books, right?
yeah,
One
a
or
few of
two?
them, 700 and something of them. Yeah.
What are you going to rate it?
Oh, I'm gonna give it 5 for sure.
The one big difference between your review and mine, the one thing you disagreed with me on was I said it was too good, and you disagreed that you'd saying that it was like a girl being too skinny. There's no such thing.
Right. Yeah. I don't agree with that statement, but I will agree that the movie is not. There's no such thing as too good. They can always step it up a little bit, and I look forward to seeing what they're gonna do.
I hope they're gonna bring you on then. It sounds like you're the only one that's got plans on how to top it. So I hope they bring you on, buddy.
Yeah. Right. I'll talk to Kevin Feige maybe.
All right, so let's get into our first movie for this week. It's from 2000, directed by Bryan Singer, starring Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, Hugh Jackman, James Marsden, Halle Berry, Anna Paquin, Rebecca Romijn, Ray Park, Tyler Mane, Stan Lee, Sean Ashmore, and that super old chick. It's called X-Men. Haven't seen these movies in a long time, and I think this movie really kind of set the foundation for what we have today, the modern kind of way they do superhero movies. With a few exceptions, it didn't get everything right. It's a pretty solid flick, but like the way they put the character names and the real names in there is really kind of awkward a lot of the time, right?
What do you mean? Like they switch back and forth, or?
No, just the way they're like, this is so and so, also known as so and so.
Okay.
It feels like they're spinning their wheels a lot doing that, and it gets a little obnoxious. I mean, yeah, I think you could probably drop a Hawkeye in there every once in a while, but it's not every time. This is Clint Hawkeye, whatever.
Though that'd be a tough thing to do for every character though, to be able to be like, well, this is why we call him that, or stuff like that. Most of them are pretty self-explanatory.
I get it. You can't get it. They didn't spin their wheels to the point where they're giving an explanation, but I don't know. It just feels a little overkill, a little forced. But again, they were still trying to kind of figure out how to do this.
I mean, it's worth noting that like this yeah, there were superhero movies before this, but this movie kind of kicked off what we've got in the last 16 years, right? Like this was the first.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It made the modern day way we know superhero movies. It's and the rest of them they kind of do parts of it too, but this one is like, they're putting like, the Jubilee Easter egg in there, and they're putting things like that in there that, and there were Easter eggs prior to this movie, but that one felt very personal.
No, there was a lot of them actually. Since I'm actually going back and reading the X-Men comics, and I noticed a lot of them through this time. It's been a really long time since I'd seen them as well.
Can I tell you something about that real quick, and then I want you to finish your thought.
Okay.
Kyle's a super good guy. When he's reading through these, as you said, he read through Spider-Man, now he's reading through X-Men. If he sees something funny or interesting in a panel, he'll screenshot it and he'll text it to me. And that one you sent me of Kitty Pryde using the N-word from the 80s, that is like my go-to laugh if I'm like ever down. Like it just is so weird.
Yeah, it's very odd. I'm pretty sure that was taboo for that time, but it was still in there.
And then you screenshotted me the cover with the comic books code logo
Yeah.
on it as well, which I loved.
Speaking of Kitty Pryde, there's a lot of Easter eggs about her in there. I mean, I know she was actually in the movie as well, but they whenever they're talking about somebody from Illinois who phases through walls and things like that, there's little hints to her, which I'm surprised they didn't put her in the movie a lot more.
Well, like they recast her for the second one, and then they pick Ellen Page up, and they kind of hit a jackpot there. So a couple other my notes are, I finally got why they did that retcon in Days of Future Past. I thought it was maybe because of all the recasting and mismatched stories that were hard to live up to, but it was really so that Wolverine could be buff through the whole timeline, right? Like he's so small in this movie. Like, Hugh Jackman's the weirdest casting you have in this movie, especially at the time. Like no one knew who he was. But he became, their star, their rock that carries this franchise on still to this day. But yeah, he was super, super small in this movie.
Yeah, he was. He was like laying on the table with his shirt off. I was thinking the same thing, as sad as that is. I was like, dang, he needs to work out.
And, didn't they take the Twin Towers out of Spider-Man 1?
Yes, they did.
Yeah. And this came out before 9/11, obvious. But it was, I don't know, still kind of weird to see the Twin Towers like very prominent in New York. But, Kevin Smith described this movie as like a really solid movie that they just ran out of money at the end. And that is what it looks like. That final fight scene looks really cheap. I don't know, that's like not the way movies really work. They're not filmed linear, but it makes sense. All right, Kurtis, you've been pretty quiet. What do you think?
I'm probably gonna be quiet. I just don't have a ton to say about these movies. Just in general, I'll talk about this one in a minute, but just in general, I think most of them are pretty good. Some are better than others. Some are not so great. Even the ones that aren't well liked I don't think are that terrible. But I just never have a desire to go back and watch these movies. It just, maybe Days of Future Past. I really like that one. I mean, I've seen these 3 or 4 times a piece to varying degrees, and I watched them again, and it was like, so this is kind of a good example. This is the first one. It's a pretty solid movie. Some of the castings are maybe not that great. I don't like, James Marsden seems like he's a nice guy. I don't think anyone's ever confused him with a great actor. He's a terrible Cyclops. Obviously, Hugh Jackman is a terrible Wolverine from the comics, but maybe just based on the size, I think he kind of gets the rest of it though. So that one worked out really well for him. I think it's pretty clear why he kind of became the star and the godfather of this franchise, because most of the other characters just aren't that interesting, or they aren't well casted. And that, for me, that's really where I don't really get into these characters that much. I don't really care about them that much.
I disagree with that. I think this movie is pretty well casted. I think the Hugh Jackman one's the weird one. I think Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen, I think that's a jackpot.
Yeah, those are solid. Some are solid, some are not. Halle Berry kind of have an accent this one, not an accent the next one. Maybe could have done a better job there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still not the most annoying accent in the movie. The other day, I didn't realize this. The other day, I just learned this within the last week, that Anna Paquin's an Oscar award winner.
When she was like 6.
Okay, I don't care, but she is terrible in these movies.
She is.
Especially in the first one. She is so
The
bad.
accent is bad.
Like, I almost want to watch the Days of Future Past Rogue Cut just to see like if she can act. I didn't watch True Blood or anything, but I may actually watch that prior to Apocalypse coming out in a few weeks. Yeah, I think the casting. I think James Marsden's a really good Cyclops.
He's just a whiny kind of emo dick.
Yeah, that's what
No,
Cyclops.
Cyclops is a leader. He's like a leader. This guy, I would not do anything this guy told me to do.
He's a leader, but he's not afraid to make himself look like a douche to be a leader. Like, he takes himself super serious, and I can relate with him so much more. I always liked him as a kid, but after rewatching these, I could relate with him even more. Like, yeah, he's a giant douche. But
He's a whiny
really cool
douche.
Well,
maybe not
okay.
so much in the first one, but in the other two, he's a real whiner. And yeah, his girlfriend died. I got it, but still.
I remember you after your wife just left you, so you were a bit of a whiny douche too. So you gotta
whatever.
give him a pass,
Like, our mom got mad at me that I wasn't depressed enough.
I went to the grocery store with you. It was the saddest thing I've ever seen. You were like, I don't know what to do here.
I hadn't
She
been
always
grocery
goes
shopping
to
in
the
like 6 years. All right.
All right. Anyway,
You should have got yourself a blanket. That's what you should have done.
zing. The one thing I do like the characters in this movie. I think it does a good job of setting them up. The two annoying accents I agree with. But the thing that I don't get, that I think I gave a pass at the time because of the cartoon, but they don't build this Jean Grey Wolverine romance. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
No,
it's out of nowhere.
The whole love triangle is not well done. I mean, I guess maybe some of the animosity between Cyclops and Wolverine is
it's
okay.
easy.
Yeah, and it's easy. That's why it's just okay at times. But the love triangle is terribly done.
Yeah, they could have done that without having Jean Grey even there. The whole interaction between Wolverine and Cyclops, but
the fact that Jean Grey's somewhat into him doesn't make any sense.
Especially in the second one, it doesn't. Yeah, it's
again. Having watched the cartoon, I think I gave it a pass when I originally watched these movies, but.
Well, in the second one, I don't want to get ahead, but we're on the topic. In the second one, when Wolverine tells Cyclops she chose you, if I were Cyclops, I'd been like, wait, what? She had a decision. She was making a decision on it.
Exactly.
What's going on here? No,
Exactly.
I wasn't aware this was a coin toss that hadn't been called yet. It's what are you talking about? But that's what it was. So yeah, it was really poorly done.
There was a couple other things that were in there that were kind of weird too. Like every time Sabretooth was there, he always did the MGM roar thing, and it was really weird. Like, that's not even true to the character at all. And then when Wolverine gets on the motorcycle and he presses the button, that one was really, really weird scene. And the motorcycle goes super fast.
Which one is it where he can start the car with his claw? Is that canon?
I don't know if that's canon or not. That's the second one, though.
I think
so. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves.
I don't know. This movie is a really solid watch. I think the beginning, the Poland stuff is like really well done. It looks really cool. It looks the exact opposite of Liberty Island. The stuff at the end, like it looks really good, and that looks really bad. But I don't know. I think this is a solid movie. It still kind of worked, all these years later. Obviously, they kind of had an idea that they were going to build this universe, but they didn't really do a great job of it. I didn't even realize how many recasts there were. It's crazy how many recasts.
Yeah, but they've established in this universe they don't care, right? Like, if they want to recast, they will. If they want to say this character was 12 years old in 1982 and now she's 33 in 1974, then that's what they're going to do. And it's fun. I think it actually kind of works, and it even kind of feels like comic books, because that's what comic books do, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
I don't know that it's by choice, but yeah, maybe. I mean, it seems like that's what this franchise.
I mean, in the new movies, Age of Apocalypse is going to take place 20 years after First Class, and no one has aged even close to 20 years. But, they did a good job of casting actors in this movie who don't age, right? Like, James Marsden still looks exactly the same. Famke Janssen, Halle Berry, Hugh Jackman. It's even to the point where they're trying to de-age Patrick Stewart, and all they do is make him look exactly the same, except with weird digital makeup on. So maybe it kind of makes sense.
Ian McKellen's aged, though. Seeing him in that first one, kind of, wow. Yeah. I was like, oh, my God.
For sure.
But for me, I wish that Patrick Stewart and Michael Fassbender would move on as Magneto and Professor X. I like that combination better, but
Yeah.
it's just me, I guess. All right, let's rate this. What do you got, Kyle?
I'm gonna go ahead and give it 3 captain's logs out of 5.
I'm gonna give it 3 claws out of 5.
Yeah, it's a 3 out of 5. It's not the best of these movies. It's not great, but it's solid, very watchable. The end is not only does it not look good, it's also just kind of meh. But it set the tone and established kind of this universe. It did a really good job of that. So there you go.
Do you know the guy that played Sabretooth didn't even live to see the premiere?
What?
Yeah, that guy died before the movie was even released.
I didn't even know he's dead.
I don't
Tyler
think that's
Mane?
true.
Okay, you can not think it's true, but it is. Moving on. Next movie, also directed by Bryan Singer, starring Ian McKellen, Halle Berry, Patrick Stewart, James Marsden, Anna Paquin, Rebecca Romaine, Brian Cox, Aaron Stanford, Sean Ashmore, Kelly Hu, Daniel Cudmore, that super old chick, and her GoldenEye co-star.
And it could have starred Tyler Mane because I just checked and he's still alive. So
No, he's
yeah, I just checked.
Yeah,
Just
Is he
checked.
really?
He's 49
I
years.
just
The
checked,
reason I
too.
knew he was still alive is because it was a story that he was kind of PO'd that he got recast and.
Oh, for Leo
yeah.
Shriver. Okay, I don't know who I'm thinking of then. Anyways, so I think I said this title wrong on the Money Monster episode. It's actually called X2 X-Men United. I think X2 Mutants Unite is actually a more appropriate name because aren't the X-Men's like the X-Men are always united?
Well, they're not very united in this movie, right? They're kind of spread out all over the place.
Well, I mean, but they join up with other
Yeah,
mutants.
yeah.
I think that's the key of the name.
Yeah.
But well,
Yeah, but they IMDb has it as X-Men 2, and then the original title is X2. I don't know. That's confusing that they changed the title. on
it should be just called X-Men 2. But whatever.
Yeah. Anyways.
So, this movie visually looks really good. I thought the visual effects still really looked super good. I think the Nightcrawler, the first scene with Nightcrawler, I think looks great. I think all the stuff with Nightcrawler looks great. He was a great addition, and I think Alan Cumming was another great casting.
Oh, definitely. I couldn't agree more. This is probably my favorite of these 3 movies, and just mainly because of Alan Cumming as Kurt Wagner or the Nightcrawler. He pulled it off magnificently, and he looked really good.
But when they're casting Nightcrawler, it's pretty facist. They're only casting people with angular faces. They're not a guy with a round face is just never going to get a job as Nightcrawler, and that's really not fair, Kyle.
It's not fair, but he even pulled off the accent as well too. So, especially with a lot of the bad accents that happen in these movies, or the lack of accents, like Colossus not having a.
So, what do you like better, him not having one, or the one he has in Deadpool?
I like the one he has in Deadpool. I think it's true to the character. I like it a lot better.
Okay. What do you think about this movie, Curtis?
It's definitely the best of the 3 we're talking about today, for sure. It takes on a lot, and it balances it pretty well. It's got Wolverine trying to figure out kind of what happened with him. It's got the Jean Grey stuff, and then obviously the bigger plot about. This is where it really gets into it starts in the first movie, it's in this, and then it really gets into in the third one about being more about mutants and that kind of allegory for racism or homophobia or those types of things and
Ageism.
Yeah, or round faceism, whatever.
Right.
Yeah, so it takes on a lot, and it's not even that long a movie, but it handles it all well and balances it all well. I think even some of the miscastings, they kind of found their place here. Halle Berry dropped that stupid accent. Unfortunately, Anna Paquin didn't. But this is really solid. This is definitely the best of the 3 we're talking about today.
Yeah, I don't think that's a hard call. I think
And the Nightcrawler stuff is really awesome. It is really, really good.
Yeah, it still looks really, really good.
They pulled off the CGI fire too.
So that is something I wanted to talk about was Pyro. That was a weird character. I didn't even remember at the time thinking that was a weird character for them to put in there. And then after seeing the movie, I kind of wish they had done the Morph storyline from the cartoon.
I don't know if I remember that one.
Oh, well, I thought that was just a spectacular storyline of a guy switching sides. But, you know, I think they were trying to not have people with similar powers in these movies. So Morph and Mystique are way too similar, which, like once I watch this movie again, like, isn't Mystique, like, essentially Superman or Eric Cartman, like, way too powerful? Like, that it's not even fair.
It's a pretty cool power.
It's a very different Mystique, right, than the Jennifer Lawrence version. She's very, very quiet,
She's
doesn't
skinny
say a
and
lot.
good looking. Skinny and good looking.
Okay. All right. You never know if Tony's on a Jennifer Lawrence fan of hers or not a fan of hers today. I didn't check the Tony J Law status update. Next time she gets in trouble with the PC police, Tony will be a big fan again. But but that very different Mystique. Obviously, she says like 15 lines of dialogue in these 3 movies, maybe, right?
Well, is Rebecca Romaine an actress or is she a model?
I mean, this is when she was making the transition, I think. So
yeah, and I think it ended there, didn't it?
To a man?
No, from model to actress.
Oh, okay. Well, like, I don't know. You just don't know anymore. But I don't know. Did she do any more work?
She was in a lot of movies up until a few years ago. I don't know what she does now. I don't know.
Like what? Was she in more than John Heder from Napoleon Dynamite?
I don't know. Just know she was in other movies. I met her. I got my picture taken with her when I was at the USO show in Kuwait. So I got to meet her. And cool. John, when she was married to John. They were both there.
Kurtis is a war hero. Don't forget it.
That's why I got to meet him, for being a war hero.
Yeah. So yeah, they do a lot of really good stuff in this movie. This movie looks really cool. I don't know. I think my only real complaint with it is that I don't know the pyro. Like, they do that a lot in the next one too. Like, I still have never even seen pyro referenced outside of this movie or the next one.
I remember him from the cartoons briefly, but I don't remember a whole lot. I haven't got to him in the comic books yet.
How far are you in the comic?
Oh, geez. I'm in around 1986, so I'd have to look at what the numbers are. I can't remember.
Have you got to the kid who can change the channel with his blinking his eyes?
What about the kid that can write without using a pencil? He just uses his fingers.
Yeah, this is where they have the opportunity to have the New Mutants and stuff like that in there, but they didn't take advantage of that opportunity. But that's fair enough, I guess.
All right. So what are you gonna rate this one, Kyle?
I'm gonna go ahead and give it 4 Nightcrawlers.
I'm gonna give it 4 Chiefs of Computers out of 5.
Yeah, it's really good. 4 out of 5.
So the final movie for tonight, and the final in this original trilogy, is from 2006. This time directed by Brett Ratner, because Bryan Singer had went to go do Superman Returns and took James Marsden with him, kind of. Starring Hugh Jackman, Halle Berry, Tyler Mane. Just kidding. Ian McKellen, Patrick Stewart. I'm really glad to hear he's alive. Anna Paquin, Kelsey Grammer, Rebecca Romaine, James Marsden, Sean Ashmore, Aaron Stanford, Ellen Page, Vinnie Jones, Ben Foster, Daniel Cudmore, Stan Lee, R. Lee Ermey, and that super old chick. It's called X-Men: The Last Stand. This movie to me seemed like a lot of parallels with Civil War. Did anyone else feel like that?
I definitely felt like that. It's hard not to pick up on the. It's not done near as well, obviously.
No, not even close. But I mean, I just thought it was kind of weird that we just saw that movie and then we're watching this one, and it's like, you know, they do the thing where they're going to add in a bunch of characters, and they add in Angel, they add in Juggernaut, and then they add in like all these, like, I don't know, 15th tier mutants at these mutant underground meetings that people go to.
Yeah.
And that's the worst part about this movie. I think this movie catches a really bad rap. I think the movie actually starts really strong. I think the addition of Kelsey Grammer as Beast is cool. I think he looks really good. I think that was a good casting. Seemed weird, but thought it was really good.
Worked really well.
But the movie definitely does fall apart and can build to this big fight that isn't. It's really not a lot. I mean,
It's just really weird. I feel like the whole ending of this movie is really weird. Like, I don't know. It didn't make a lot of
I mean,
sense.
it's really weird to end a movie with like Wolverine walking out on a balcony, just like smelling the roses, and
It was like it was over, but it wasn't over. So I don't know. It was really weird.
and then the after credits thing, like does that ever pay off in one of the movies we're gonna watch next week? Or
I mean, he's still alive in Days of Future Past in the future, which is the future of these movies, right?
so yeah, I guess, I mean, but like, do they ever reference this? I don't know.
I still
It's
haven't
hard to-
I still haven't seen the Wolverine yet, so I don't know if it's in there.
Okay.
Yeah, me neither. Haven't seen it yet.
Well,
Either.
we'll get to that next week. But what about this one? Ben Foster, he's a Disney Channel kid. They got him as Angel, which is just weird. The way it's in this movie, he's in this movie is super weird. He's like nothing. Like there could have been 6 months after the DVD release of this, X-Men Last Stand, the Archangel cut. The movie just totally would have worked without him. I mean.
Yeah, definitely. It was they fit way too much in this movie. And from what I understand from whenever they were shooting the movie is they were trying to keep all the rights to these characters. So that's why they went through a whole list of characters as they were unloading the truck and things like that. And also why they included the Juggernaut as a mutant, which he's not a mutant, but that was a big one for me is they completely screwed up Kane Marco.
I think that's the worst casting in any of these movies. Vinnie Jones is terrible in that role. The writing for him is terrible. That line he says, "I'm the Juggernaut," like that is one of the most cringe-worthy things I've ever seen on the big screen.
It doesn't even make sense. Like, why is that just something he says, or
no? It's like an online joke.
No, I know, but it doesn't. There was no reason for him to say that. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, he just told him who he was for no reason.
Like, oh, I'm sorry. Let me get you out of there. I didn't realize you were the Juggernaut. But now that you've done that and referred to me as a pejorative, then no, let me get you out of there.
Right.
That is one good casting choice. There was Kitty
Yeah.
Pryde, though.
Oh,
I think they did a good
jackpot.
job with her.
I mean, like, you want to talk like. She's the exact opposite of Anna Paquin. If this week I had heard Ellen Page had an Oscar, I would go, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So can I ask a question about Rogue? Why is she in the war room with them? This isn't the Rogue from the comics or the cartoon who has superpowers because she touched somebody. I forget which character she touched.
Miss Marvel.
Miss Marvel, yeah. What was she gonna do in that fight with that giant Sentinel? No,
She just gets blocked by Colossus. That's about
don't
it.
touch anyone.
The Sentinel is really cool, though. I'll give him that.
Oh yeah,
That was cool to see
looking.
that.
But
yeah,
she has no powers or anything in these movies. I mean, they really kind of just crapped all over that character and
see. I didn't realize what you were saying was the case. Like, I remember her from the cartoon, and she was awesome on there. She was a legit hero. But yeah, she doesn't maintain anyone's powers for any amount of time in this movie or in any of these movies, right?
Yeah,
Right.
no, they're very not true to the character. So
she essentially has no superpowers.
yeah, essentially.
So what was she gonna do in the war? Anyway,
She had nowhere else to be.
I mean, this whole movie it seems like X2, I think, laid a good foundation for what could have been an interesting story here, and probably losing Bryan Singer probably hurt it. I think if he had been here to kind of continue that, it probably would have worked out a lot better. I don't hate this movie as much as a lot of people do, and a lot of people really despise it. I don't think it's that terrible. It is hard to not compare it to Civil War and just see how badly this fails where Civil War succeeded. Everyone's talking and talking and talking, but about these two sides and these two different ways to look at it, at this cure specifically. But I don't ever feel like anyone's discussion or points have any effect on what anyone does or the outcome of the movie. It just seems like we're talking, and then stuff happened, and that would have happened if we had talked or not. So what did we talk for? Everything about it just doesn't work, whereas it was done so well in Civil War. I can't wait to go. Since I don't have to see The Nice Guys, I'm going to go see that again this weekend.
Nice.
I can't wait.
Lucky you. Lucky you. Unless Andy backs out, and then you're going to come in and save the day, right?
I need to go ahead and pre-watch the other two movies for next week.
I don't know. Talk to Andy. Anyways, okay, so let's rate this real quick. I'm going to give it 2 scrambled eggs out of 5. I don't think it's as bad as most people think, but it's also the worst of these 3.
Not to keep the trend going or anything, I'm going to give it 2 Shadow Cats out of 5 as well.
It's very watchable, but I think more than anything, it kind of makes you a little mad because it could have been a much better movie. But yeah, it's a 2 out of 5. But just the mutant whose power is being able to take notes by waving their hand over. Like, couldn't they have done that at regular school? Did they really need to go to the Xavier School for the gifted? I mean, couldn't probably just gone to regular school and taken notes that way, and probably no one would even noticed.
And hang out with Blinky television changer guy.
Well, he could have.
Not everybody gets a cool power, though. You got to remember
true.
that.
That's true.
Even in the comics, they don't always give them cool powers. So.
Yeah. And what Kurtis said about Bryan Singer leaving and them not kind of having a Kevin Feige, like, I know he was associated with the movie, but he wasn't like the overseer of all the universe or anything like that. So I think that definitely hurt this movie. But I do want to do a quick Tony's tantrum before we go. As you may have heard, I referred to Famke Janssen as that super old chick a couple times. And this is one of those weird things where I just kind of like, this is even worse than like where the football player goes, I'm going to sue the NFL because I got hurt playing in the NFL. Well, like, yeah, no crap. You didn't think you were going to get hurt playing in a league where people just crash together all the time? Like, yeah. Oh, Hollywood only likes young people on their screen? Man, what a concept. Why in 2000 did you not say, I'm not going to take this Jean Grey role. I think you should give it to somebody who's 50 years old. No, you reap the benefits. Now somebody else is. So just shut up. Just shut up.
I think the point there is that's only true for women. It's not true for men. But
no, it's true for good characters. If she was a good character, and she fit into the story, they would have her in there. They had her in Days of Future Past, their best movie.
I don't know specifically what comments you're talking about, but we can't argue that. I'm not saying it's right, wrong, fair, or unfair. I'm saying you can't argue that when men get older that they stay in movie. Like every other movie is about a 45-year-old actor dating a 25 or 30-year-old actress.
Yeah, and how long's it been like that? My entire lifetime. Again, this should come as no surprise to Famke Janssen. She reaped the benefits of this when she was the 25-year-old. Now that she's the 50-year-old, tough nuggets, dog. And you're not even that good. What, you've been in 2 garbage Taken movies and 1 good Taken movie, Goldeneye, and these movies. What else has anyone ever seen you in? Exactly. I can name more John Hatter movies.
I think she looks really good
TV
for 50.
acting. She's got TV acting.
Well, yeah, I think she's on the blacklist, but
she's the good wife, I thought.
Maybe that too, but
no, it's not. I thought that was her too, but it's not. It was a different actress.
Oh, it's not her?
Yeah, I thought it was too at one point, but it's not.
To me, it's ridiculous. It's if she doesn't fit into the story. And here's actually what I think they should do. I hope that the X-Men universe will stay in the 80s. I would like to see them do that for a couple movies, and then use these older actors that have been in these other movies in the Deadpool movies.
They've already said the next movie is going to be in the 90s. I don't know why they keep going up 10 years at a time. It doesn't sort of, especially when they're using the same actors who are only going to be 3 or 4 years older every time.
But what I'm saying is, like, have like James Marsden show up as Cyclops and meet Cable, in Deadpool 2 or 3. Like, you if they want to use them in that way, but no, they're trying to make money here. Like, Hollywood's a business, dog. It's not about like just putting people in movies because they want to be in them. It's not everything's a Kevin Smith movie, dog. Like, I don't know.
I don't know why you gotta be so angry about it, but I don't know. I didn't hear her comment. So.
Yeah. I never heard the comment either, so I didn't know there was an issue there.
You need to. All right,
It's really stupid.
All right, well, everyone will be able to go to sleep tonight, so don't get too worked up over it.
I may not. If it wasn't so late, it's way past my bedtime. All right. So this weekend we'll be reviewing The Nice Guys. Kyle recommended a movie that we're going to check out called Special Correspondence. And we're also going to check out a VOD movie called Search Party. So join us this weekend. But until then, gotta go, son.
Pay attention.